News now.
WMAL News at 9. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. Has D.C. already found its next police chief?
This morning, sources tell the 7 News I-Team Morgan Kane, a senior law enforcement official with the Smithsonian, is under serious consideration. Kane currently oversees security for more than 20 Smithsonian museums, the National Zoo, and major events on the National Mall after spending more than 2 decades rising through the ranks of MPD. This comes as Chief Pamela Smith, of course, prepares to leave the department.
7 News' John Gonzalez. When lawmakers returned to Annapolis Tuesday to unanimously elect new Democratic House Speaker Jocelyn Pena-Melnick, they also overrode several of Governor Westmore's vetoes, including one that would have cut a study of the impacts of data centers. That study is now back.
Do you need a commission to study something that's already been studied?
House Minority Leader Jason Buckles said his issues with the bill centered around the vast vagueness of the language.
We oppose the bill because of the open-ended nature of more. How much will it cost? We don't know.
After a lengthy debate, the General Assembly officially voted to override the governor's veto of the reparations study bill.
Fox 45 reporter Mackenzie Frost. In Australia, funerals are now underway for the 15 persons who were killed in a Hanukkah attack earlier this week.
Naveen Akram is accused of conducting a massacre targeting Jewish people on Sydney's Bondi Beach. He's charged with offenses including committing a terrorist act. Police say the 24-year-old was one of 2 shooters along with his father. 50-year-old Sajid Akram died at the scene. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese.
Our nation will respond. We will hold people to account for what has occurred.
Funerals have been taking place for victims who range from a 10-year-old girl to an 87-year-old Holocaust survivor. Jonathan Savage, Fox News.
You don't have to go down under to find the hate. There's plenty of that to go around here closer to home.
A man in Fairfax County is facing several charges after police say he vandalized an Islamic center in Annandale, threatening to call ICE on community members there. This happened the day after Thanksgiving at the Dar al-Noor Community Center on Little River Turnpike. Witnesses say 64-year-old Tony Sho swung a bat at people and also damaged a car. He was released on bond and charged with assault and trespassing.
7 News' Adam Longo. Governor Glenn Youngkin's always promoted a sterling financial outlook for Virginia, but new university research from one school is telling a different story.
We are running another surplus this year.
The governor proud of what he's built, but the 11th annual Old Dominion State of the Commonwealth report explains something different. Economics chair Dr. Bob McNabb.
The Virginia labor force, that is people looking for work or at work, is smaller. The unemployment rate is higher.
More notable is how hard Northern Virginia has been hit by federal workforce cuts, which leaves a big question for the incoming state administration.
How do we create economic development opportunities across Virginia rather than relying upon Northern Virginia to sort of pull the state along?
Scott Lynn on WMAL and WMAL.com.
A record number of D.C. area residents expected to travel this holiday season, 3 million of them mostly by car.
The best time to travel, particularly if you're doing so by car and have the flexibility to do so, would be either on Christmas Eve, the 24th, or Christmas Day.
Regina Ali with AAA says on the flip side,
the worst day will be this coming Saturday around 4:15 p.m. We're expecting increased traffic congestion of about 133%.
Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
Dow futures up 97 points, NASDAQ futures up 65. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise receive a second dose of COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Schedule at KinneyDrugs.com or walk into any Kinney pharmacy.
You deserve expert, personalized OBGYN care that's close to home. BJC-affiliated OBGYNs and midwives offer exceptional care throughout the region in convenient locations. Feel comfortable and supported from your first women's wellness exam to pregnancy and childbirth to menopause and everything in between. Find an OBGYN or midwife with BJC. Learn more at bjc.org/OBGYN.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
WMAL traffic and weather, Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Sterling, late delays on Route 7, eastbound jam from the Cascades Parkway to get you past Sterling Boulevard. Crash cleanup from the overturned vehicle crash. The westbound delays have mostly cleared out. Leaving the Beltway going southbound 95 still slows into Newington, but they just contained that crash all to the right shoulder now, so you should start to see some improvement. Maryland, Brookville area 97 is jammed again each direction north of 650, north of Tridelphia Lake Road for the incident. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
We are tracking big changes this afternoon for the first time in 3 weeks. Highs above average in the lower 50s. Skies will become mostly cloudy as we head through the day with southwest winds at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Dry this evening and not too cold as we fall out of the 40s and into the 30s. Tomorrow we're in the mid-50s with rain moving in at night. I'm 7 News meteorologist Eileen Whalen.
34 degrees at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide on the WMAL app. Chris Plant.
President Trump posted a headline last week from the Washington Examiner calling him the, quote, most important president in maybe 100 years. Okay, but important doesn't mean good. Like, for example, it's important to get that weird mole checked out.
That's as good as it gets on late night TV. How's Joe Biden's mole doing? I think that's his head. Sorry, that's his entire head. Not just a mole that needs to be removed. Hang on now. Go like this. Ah, yes. Well, a very happy hump day to all of you. It is Wednesday in America. What day is it where you are? We have a great many moving parts today, as you might expect. The big kerfuffle yesterday over the Vanity Fair article that, for some inexplicable reason, the Trump White House allowed Vanity Fair under the tent and to latch on to the White House Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, who gets great reviews everywhere you look. But she did 11 interviews, apparently, with Vanity Fair, some of which lasted an hour each, not collectively, but an hour each. And then, for some reason, people were surprised that Vanity Fair did a hit piece, a hatchet job on the White House Chief of Staff, who's a woman, perhaps the most powerful woman in Washington. She's one of those smart White House Chief of Staff people, unlike Joe Biden. Can anybody name a Joe Biden White House Chief of Staff? Because they were all very severely mentally impaired. Severely mentally impaired Democrats. They're smids. And surprise, I wasn't surprised that they had a hit job done on them. Shocking though that may seem. Isn't that amazing? Also, the President of the United States, Donald John Trump, tonight will be delivering an address to the nation from the White House in the 9 p.m. hour, right? And That means, 9 p.m. And it may not start exactly at 9:01:30. That's usually when the White House addresses start, 9 p.m. You give it 1 minute and 30 seconds for the anchorman to lead in. So it starts at 9:01 and 30 seconds. But it may start a little beyond that. And the president, I think, has a lot to get off his chest. And whatever's on the teleprompter will provide a nice framework. But I suspect that the president will then riff here and there on issues that matter to him. And he's going to cover everything from Joe Biden being horrible and awful and terrible in the mess that he left him on the economy and the open border and the gangs and the illegal aliens. And he'll talk about blowing up drug running boats out of Venezuela, and he'll talk about everything, the economy and prices and Biden. And I expect it will be, earlier today I was predicting a 55-minute speech. I'm expecting a 55-minute speech, I think. And then I was communicating with the people at Newsmax TV saying, hey, the President Trump, my TV show there is 10 p.m., right? And I said, the president is speaking at 9 p.m. I'm guessing that it's going to be just roll right into a panel discussion, and that's going to go till 11 p.m. And no, come in and we're going to act like there's no speech going on at all. We're going to pretend that it's an average day. So we've got that going on because, that's a big deal. It's kind of a big deal, I've got to say. And we have that. Yes, sir. Big stuff. We have a lot going inside the government. We have a lot going on outside the government. And today is Wednesday, so it is hump day in the Clinton household. That can never be a good thing. And it's mailbag day here on the Chris Pine Show. It's mailbag day because it's Wednesday. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone with my mailbag questions there. That question. This is fun. This is one that came in by way of the U.S. mail, and I like this. I'm looking forward to the mailbag today because there's a lot going on. And I got to tell you, I did my every Wednesday morning. I call in to WLS, my radio station in Chicago, Illinois, station I grew up with, station I'm on today, and that's great fun. And they had a crazy story they were talking about when I was on hold waiting for my great guys at WLS in Chicago. In Illinois, they had, what was it, a 1 week, a 7-day deer hunting season. 7-day deer hunting season in the state of Illinois. And you think, well, in Illinois, didn't they ban guns and all that stuff? Well, it's a 7-day deer hunting season, and they killed killed more than 81,000 deer. More than 81,000 deer have been hunted and killed in the state of Illinois in 7 days. In 7 days, that's some good shooting. Whoever these people are, they should go to Chicago and teach the kids to shoot. Fewer stray bullets flying around Chicago would be good. Over 81,000 deer harvested by Illinois hunters during 2025 firearm deer season, because they have the guns deer season. Then they have bow hunting. They have bow hunting season too. And then also just chase after them with a big pointed stick season, which is much harder. They do more of that in Brentwood, California. Apparently in Brentwood, there's a lot of that going on. And we've got updates for you on all the big stories on Brown University and in Rhode Island. And did you see that a Jewish professor at MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, at MIT, he went to his home and where he was shot to death. He was shot a bunch of times, but he didn't die right away. They took him to the hospital, and he was still alive, and he died in the hospital later. Jewish college professor, MIT, and he was specializing in nuclear things. He did work, I saw reporting with the Pentagon and nuclear things. Jewish professor, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. He went home. It's about a 1-hour drive from where the mass shooting was at Brown University, but that's not important. We got a lot of crazy stuff going on in the country these days, and it's not just the rich sons of rich Hollywood directors and producers. There's a lot of crazy, and I blame the Democrats, as you might expect me to blame the Democrats, because the Democrats have earned so much blame. Boy, have they earned a lot of blame. So we've got big news going on. We've got all kinds of stuff going on all over the place. We really do. and the Democrats provide me with way too much of it. There's also I know everybody tracks Dan Bongino, now at the FBI, Deputy Director of the FBI, and some news breaking about Dan Bongino that I want to share with you today as well. Really remarkable things going on everywhere you look. And Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia. That's, what's his name? Naveed Akram, charged with 15 counts of murder and shooting a whole bunch more people, all because they're Jewish. And the Democrat Party has jumped on the jihad bandwagon. They're an anti-Semitic party. The Democrat Party is. Their Jews hate the Jews. It's a self-loathing Democrat Party Jewish thing that most normal people wouldn't understand. But we've got a great deal going on various fronts today, and I will be sharing them with you. And as the day progresses, since I cover half the workday here from 9 a.m. to noon Eastern time, that's half the workday on the East Coast for sure. Then everybody goes to martini lunches and cheating on their wives and the usual Democrat Party stuff. Yes, ma'am. And also Hanukkah is underway. There was a Hanukkah celebration at the Trump White House last night, and Mark Levin hails President Trump as the first Jewish president. Mark Levin at the Hanukkah reception at the White House. Big stuff. Big things going on. And again, as the first Jewish president, and his daughter converted to Judaism, his grandchildren are Jewish. He's brought peace between three Arab nations and Israel. He had a village in Israel named for him, Trump has. And, Joe Biden, no, they might name a village after him in Iran, and Barack Hussein Obama, they should name a village after him in Iran too. But back here in Brooklyn, New York, in Crown Heights, New York City, 2 anti-Semitic attacks in 24 hours target Jews in Crown Heights and the New York City subway. I don't think the New York City subway is as much fun as it used to be. Clang, clang, clang went the trolley. I know that wasn't the New York City subway, but that's not important now. A Jewish man wounded in Crown Heights stabbing, and the guy, he's a black guy. He walked out, he's wearing, what is that jacket? Like some kind of, wasn't a gang jacket or a biker jacket, but it's a very loud jacket. And he walked up to the guy and used anti-Jewish slurs to smear the guy. And then he stabbed him, of course, because he wanted to murder him, because the Democrat Party, they should be wearing armbands, and they should always have brown shirts. Don't you think? They shouldn't wear white business shirts with a point collar. I think they should be wearing brown shirts everywhere they go, the Democrat Party. Amazing stuff. And the headline, I mentioned it earlier, but here's the headline. MIT, the MIT professor, head of nuclear science, shot dead at home after neighbors hear the door being kicked in and 3 bangs. They heard the door being kicked in. Why are they kicking in the door of a Jewish MIT professor who's the head of nuclear science? And they kicked in his door and shot him 3 times. And then they fled. And he didn't die, as I said, right away. He was taken to the hospital and died at the hospital later. It's a murder. It might be an assassination. Was it anti-Semitism, as the Democrats have made so popular across the United States of America? Isn't that something? Shot in his Brookline, Mass home. That's short for Massachusetts, like that. Yes, sir. And, I told you yesterday, maybe even day before yesterday, that the Reiner family had gone over to Conan O'Brien's house for a Christmas party. I bet they called it a holiday party, though. And whenever, I'm going to call it a Christmas party. In fact, the headline here, the Hollywood Reporter, now that I mention it, said Conan O'Brien threw a holiday party. See, it wasn't a Christmas party. To forget a bad year. That's because Trump. See, that's so Trump derangement syndrome. They had such a bad year. Why would they have a bad year? It's, President Trump was inaugurated on January 20th, and leftists have had a bad year, and they haven't killed nearly enough Jews yet. They got to set up rail spurs and camps before they really go to work. Conan O'Brien threw a holiday party to forget a bad year. Then Nick Reiner arrived. See, there you have it. That's and he arrived, and he was bad news for sure. Got to say. Also, Democrats are again very severely mentally impaired. Severely mentally impaired Democrats. SMID, S-M-I-D, severely mentally impaired Democrats. The SMIDs, and honestly, the son of the murderer of his parents, he's a severely mentally ill Democrat, isn't he? He's a SMID, just another SMID. We've got that. But they're proving that they're SMIDs in Boston, Massachusetts, too, because it turns out that the anniversary of the Boston Tea Party, was observed by Democrats in Boston, Mass. They went down to the harbor and they dumped tea into the water? No, they dumped ice blocks and ice cubes because it's an anti-ice protest. They shouldn't be allowed to drive cars. They definitely shouldn't be allowed to own firearms. They shouldn't be allowed to fly commercial because they're severely mentally ill Democrats everywhere. Just amazing. Also, this is a fun story. ABC fake news. George Snuffleupagus. Hunter Biden disbarred in Connecticut. Disbarred, does that mean he can't go into a bar? Oh, no, he can still go into bars. Hunter Biden disbarred in Connecticut after complaints about gun, tax convictions. Oh, no. Come on, one gun conviction and one tax evasion conviction, and suddenly you're not a lawyer in Connecticut anymore? I wonder if he's bar certified in any other states where he could still be disbarred. Crackhead Hunter. Just amazing stuff. Wah, wah, wah. We are at 888-630-9625. What's your favorite story of the day? 888-630-9625.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Every fucking time.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Centers. To watch for late delays in Sterling, the crash was eastbound 7 after Sterling Boulevard involved an overturned vehicle. Southbound 95, some residual delays as you come off the Beltway toward Newington. That crash over to the shoulder. 395, we are still bunched up near the Pentagon, solid onto Lower 14th Street and onto the freeway. Brookville, Maryland, with crash activity again on Georgia Avenue, north of Tridelphia Lake Road. That's north of 650. Traffic just crawling there. Avoid if you can. Now, from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Increasing clouds this afternoon, but warming up with a high 52. Partly cloudy overnight, low 30.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies. Kinney Drugs is here for life.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Tu camino hacia la educación para adultos empieza con AEPP. Te ayudamos a encontrar los programas que mejor se adapten a tu rutina. Saber más en nyset.gov/adult. Este es un mensaje del Departamento de Educación del Estado de Nueva York.
From a 2 a.m. wild child, shred the couch on a whim. A little fluffy crazy cat who don't play nice with the kids. Gonna take your flu. But I'll keep it safe for your food. You're an unnatural beast with natural litter under your feet, yeah. At least in your box inside, no more dust all over the place. Everybody without clay, say meow. World's best cat litter for the world's best cat.
AmeriQ Credit Union is more than just a place to bank. It's a place where you belong, where meaningful connections are made with the right financial solutions to help you live your best life, with the people who can help you get there, and the perfect blend of technology to stay connected wherever you are. For 75 years, we've been proud to serve our local communities on the founding principle of people helping people. Join today at ameriq.org/belong. AmeriQ and you. Let's connect. Membership eligibility required. Insured by NCUA.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
Washington's best way to wake up. O'Connor and Company with Larry O'Connor. Weekday mornings from 5 to 9 on WMAL.
All right, Michael, let us go to the telephones and talk to the great American people about the magnificent issues of our day. Strange a time though this may be. And Rob Reiner, that whole Rob Reiner thing, I gotta tell you, it's crazy. We live in a crazy country, and everywhere you look, it's another Democrat, isn't it? Yes, it is. All right, let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Bill, calling from Columbia, Maryland. William, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. It's so great to be on. So I was telling your call screener, I have recovered from alcoholism. I'm in my 22nd year. And I've been saying for a long time, I think Trump has an alcoholic personality. Now, I had an alcoholic personality before I ever picked up my first drink, and I still have an alcoholic personality, even though I haven't had a drink in almost 22 years.
Wow.
But that being said, the outstanding characteristic of alcoholics is defiance. And I'm a type A personality, so I'm one of these guys, I'll do more before breakfast than most people do all day. And that's certainly Trump, and he's certainly defiant. You know, he's somebody, I don't even consider him a Republican. I mean, he created his own party because I'm an independent. You know, he definitely defies the system. So I could go on and on about alcoholic personalities, but I think it's a good thing that he has that personality, and it's amazing that he didn't succumb like his brother did. Unfortunately, his brother didn't. He talked about his brother succumbing to addiction. And so I think that the chief of staff was right on the mark when she's compared Trump to her father, Pat Summerall, who apparently also had an alcoholism.
Right, exactly right. And most families do. At least I come from a largely Irish family, so then it's a guarantee. You know, it's a lock. You got that going, and that's been part of the world since I was a tiny kid. Now, President Trump did put out a statement on this yesterday afternoon, which I have right in front of me, Bill. and I want to read it for you. And Susie Wiles, the White House Chief of Staff, she also put out a statement on this article in Vanity Fair. Bill, I don't understand why anybody's surprised that this is a hit piece, right? That's the only part that I'm confused by. How did they not expect Vanity Fair to do a smear job on Trump's White House Chief of Staff? Isn't that obvious, Bill?
Well, I think Trump has been playing the media for years, and he probably told her to go ahead and say whatever she wanted to say, and they're going to spin it to his advantage because every time the media thinks they got him, it always
blows up in their face. I've got his response coming up.
This is the Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Great news in Sterling. They've cleared the crash, Route 7 near Sterling Boulevard. Those delays just about cleared. Watch for stop and go, though, on the Reston Parkway, approaching the toll road. That's where we have crash activity. 395 North, still bunched up near the Pentagon, heading into town. In the Brookville area, lanes reopened again on Georgia Avenue, north of Tridelphia Lake Road, north of 650 from the earlier incident. Delays quickly easing. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Storm Mark 7 forecast.
Increasing clouds this afternoon, but warming up with a high 52. Partly cloudy overnight, low 30.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Yes, it's me again. We prepped. Woo! Prep. Oh wow, oh wow, oh wow. It's the time for empowerment, and I got a message for you.
Now that's funny. Andy, you have one choice. Click on my link. You come up on my panel. You're not going to spam my side chat.
Talk to a healthcare provider and visit carefortheculture.com to learn more.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
It's truck and SUV season at Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader. Just look at the rows of trucks and the rows of SUVs ready for winter, like a Ford F-150 XLT, yours for just $37,999. How about a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, just $20,999? Or a beautiful Chevy Truck Z71, yours for $26,999. Rows of trucks and rows of SUVs during truck and SUV season at the veteran-owned Widget Auto Sales, the used car leader in out of Washington Street, or online at widgetautosales.com.
WMAL, making sense of world events, because those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Yes, and it's mailbag day, and Hillary Clinton waking up face on in a pool of her own dried vomit on a linoleum kitchen floor in one of their many multi-million-dollar mansions. She's got to clear out because for Bill Clinton, it's hump day. That's a fact check. Now, I've got, you may or may not have seen one of the stories that I want to get to today about Dan Bongino, because there's news about Dan Bongino. It's in the New York Times and Mediaite. They have three sources. They got three. Two were not enough. They had to go get three sources on that, and that's remarkable stuff. But I do want to get to that sooner rather than later. However, there's other stuff. I was just talking about President Trump, right, and the Susie Wiles hit piece in Vanity Fair magazine, which is a big deal. It's kind of a big deal, and why the Trump White House allowed these Vanity Fair people in under the tent, I don't know, but let's go to what President Trump said, because one of the big stories out of, and there are a number of them because it's all hit piece all the time with the phony, baloney, corrupt Democrat Party front group media, which would include, certainly not limited to Vanity Fair magazine, but would certainly include Vanity Fair magazine. And I've got to say, the alcoholic's personality, it's funny, when we heard this yesterday, my best girl said right away, hasn't Trump said that about himself in the past? I mean, isn't that not shocking? And, they just strip it off figuring nobody remembers anything that was said more than 20 minutes ago. And they say, oh, yeah, nobody's ever heard this before, but everybody's heard this before. The headline in the New York Post, Trump stands by Chief of Staff Susie Wiles after bombshell Vanity Fair article. And the interviews, multiple interviews, apparently 11 interviews she did with Vanity Fair. And the headline, Trump stands by Chief of Staff Susie Wiles after bombshell Vanity Fair interviews, plural, admits he has, quote, alcoholic personality. What's this? President Trump defended White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles in an exclusive interview with the New York Post on Tuesday, saying he was right to tell Vanity Fair she was right to tell Vanity Fair he has a, quote, alcoholic's personality, and that he has, end quote, and that he has confidence in Wiles to continue in her role. In an afternoon phone call, Trump said he wasn't offended by his subordinate's choice of words. No, she meant that this is President Trump now, says, no, she meant that I don't drink alcohol, so everybody knows that, but I've often said that if I did, I'd have a very good chance of being an alcoholic. I have said that many times about myself. I do, he said. It's a very possessive personality, Trump said, and a teetotaler who has frequently cited the 1981 death of his older brother, Fred, at the age of 42, of an alcohol-induced heart attack at the age of 42, as the main impetus for his abstinence. And And he said that, and President Trump went on to say, I've said that many times about myself. I'm fortunate. I'm not a drinker. If I did, I could very well, because I've said that. What's the word? Not possessive, and addictive type personality. Oh, I've said it many times before. And my best girl remembered it right away. But Vanity Fair didn't, and the New York Times didn't, and the Washington Post didn't, and CNN didn't. They should all hire my best girl at $1 million each, and she could tell them what they're missing. In the profile in Vanity Fair, Susie Wiles, the daughter of late NFL player and broadcaster Pat Summerall. Pat Summerall, famous sports broadcaster, who underwent his own public struggles with the bottle, told author Chris Whipple, a very well-known left-wing, anti-Trump, anti-Republican Democrat activist, and why they agreed. Now, I'm guessing President Trump had to give the green light on this for his chief of staff to do 11 interviews, some of which went on for at least an hour each, with Vanity Fair magazine, knowing they're going to do a hit piece. And then they did a hit piece. And then President Trump, he's standing by her, which is appropriate, of course, and it's typical of President Trump to stand by her as well. So they told the author, Chris Whipple, that high-functioning alcoholics, or alcoholics in general, their personalities are exaggerated when they drink. Then the president has an alcoholic's personality. That's the phrase that she used, because he operates with a view that there's nothing he can't do. Nothing he can't do. It's like, you're on the roof of the house and, I'm a golden god and there's nothing I can't do because you're drunk out of your brains and you leap off the roof into the swimming pool, because that's part of, maybe that's just being drunk. That's not so much a personality thing. So over the course of 11 conversations this year with Vanity Fair magazine, Susie Wiles also said Vice President J.D. Vance was, quote, a conspiracy theorist for a decade, and that, end quote, and that Attorney General Pam Bondi whiffed. That's the whole, just one word in quotation marks. That should always get your antenna up when there's just one word, no complete sentence or complete thought in quotation marks, then being manipulated. Pam Bondi whiffed in her handling of files related to notorious pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, who gave almost all of his political money to
what are you
Democrats,
gonna do, cult of Darrow? What are you gonna do?
Surveillance cameras at his suicide watch jail cell in New York. Is that right? Yeah, that's right. President Trump said, I didn't read it, meaning the Vanity Fair magazine article. But I don't read Vanity Fair, he said. But she's done a fantastic job.
Copyright ain't gonna do nothing
Tuesday
to me.
When asked about the report by Whipple
Fuck off.
and Vanity Fair. Mr. Whipple, best known for his 2000.
Bottom line is, JC was talking about having hair removed. She said she had her bikini line done. Bullshit.
The facts were wrong. And it was a very misguided.
JC had facial hair removed because she's an ugly bitch.
Purposely misguided. Asked if he had full confidence in Susie Wiles, his chief of staff, the president said, oh, she's fantastic. That sounds pretty good. He said he thought Whipple, the typist for the Democrat Party, may have deceived Wiles regarding his focus. No, come on. What are the odds? I think that's about 100% probability on that. Said, yeah, deceived, President Trump said. Yeah, deceived. And he didn't have great access. A couple of very short interviews, and Susie generally doesn't do interviews. Well, 11 interviews were done, and they said some of them went on for an hour. If anybody knows the interviewer, and if they know Vanity Fair is it's lost its way, President Trump said. It's also lost its readers, as you know. No, she's fantastic, President Trump said. And she is, let me say this, I've been around this town for a while now. There are some White House chiefs of staff that are pretty great, and they become famous and legendary, and it's a very powerful position in Washington, particularly if the person is good at it. Again, I don't think anybody could name a Joe Biden White House chief of staff. For the most part, I think a Barack Obama White House chief of staff, nobody could name either. But Susie Wiles is very respected in Washington, D.C. And she, according to all, and I've actually never met her in person, but I know a lot of people that know her and have worked directly for her and worked in the Trump White House and so on. And every report I get is positive about Susie Wiles, just smart, like, razor smart. And she, when she cracks the whip, it's a bullwhip, and she runs a tight ship. She controls the situation. She controls the agenda. She controls the timing of everything. And this, I didn't learn this until earlier this week. She's apparently, I'm told reliably, very funny. And for me, that goes a long way. Of course, you can be very smart. You can be in politics. But being able to make things funny at the same time, that's key. That's good stuff. So she's pretty great. And also the vice president responded a little bit to this because he was asked about it naturally, because that's how that goes. Amazing. So we also got James Carville, the Democrat. You never know what you'll turn up when you run a $100 bill through a trailer park. You might turn up James Carville, as it turns out. And we've got some hymn that I want to share with you. And healthcare. What are we going to do to undo Obamacare, which destroyed the greatest healthcare system in the history of humankind, the American healthcare system? We've got that. I'm telling you. But we've got also, I think you have the J.D. Vance soundbite when he was asked about this, because J.D. Vance was doing an event and he was like, "Oh, hey, Susie Wiles, the White House chief of staff, said that you've been a conspiracy theorist for 10 years. That's a decade for Democrats trying to follow along at home. That's a 10th of a century." To see how that's got to explain this stuff, though. Vice President of the United States, J.D. Vance, when he was asked about Susie Wiles and the Vanity Fair hit piece.
Sometimes I am a conspiracy theorist, but I only believe in the conspiracy theories that are true. And Susie Wiles, we have our disagreements. We agree on much more than we disagree, but I've never seen her be disloyal to the President of the United States, and that makes her the best White House chief of staff that I think the President could ask for. If any of us have learned a lesson from that Vanity Fair article, I hope that the lesson is we should be giving fewer interviews to mainstream media outlets.
Yeah, I think that probably is the correct lesson. The thing is, everybody knew that before Vanity Fair and this, Mr. Whipple came in. Everybody knew that. I'd like to think, but still somehow this 11 interviews with the White House chief of staff, and then don't be surprised when they excise 3 words here and 2 words there and turn it into, oh, see, we can spin this as being bad news for everybody, right? That's pretty wacky doodle do. I've got to tell you, and it's all about the Democrat Party and the abuses of the news media, the fourth estate. They know that our republic cannot function properly if the fourth estate has been corrupted. And so what did they do? Well, they got to work successfully corrupting the fourth estate, the American news media. Isn't that amazing? Yes, sir. Now, I've got I saw it this morning and I thought, well, this could be real and it could be a lot of bourgeois. But it turns out that it is real. The headline in the New York Times, FBI Director Kash Patel, eager for spotlight, casts aside caution in social media posts. That's their big thing, the social media posts, right? And the New York Times, Kash Patel's impulse to publicize the work of the Bureau under his leadership has revived questions about his competence and his future in the administration. This is, they're trying to do a hit piece, it's the New York Times, on Kash Patel. And also, Dan Bongino comes into this because a short time later in the New York Times piece, there is news on Dan Bongino. And I know everybody listening here knows Dan Bongino, and Dan Bongino used to come on most of these stations right after my show at noon Eastern time and 3 hours. Been taken over very capably by Vince Colonnese, our great friend here in Washington. Vince Colonnese, who's wonderful and a great guy and a great American and a great talk show host, and wonderful. But Mediaite, the left-wingers at Mediaite, they went to the New York Times, which they have to read every morning. It's their Bible, or their Koran, really. It's more like their Koran. But the clowns at Mediaite, with their headline, Dan Bongino clearing out his office in preparation for FBI exit. I'm sorry, what's this? New York Times. See, they don't put that's not their headline because they're going after the director. And when they heard that Dan Bongino is planning on leaving the FBI, the Justice Department, the Trump administration soon, they said, oh, well, screw that. Let's go after the Kash Patel and the FBI director and try to get him and destroy the world, because that's what the New York Times is here for. But this is a big deal. Dan Bongino clearing out his desk in preparation for FBI exit, according to the New York Times. Deputy FBI Director Dan Bongino is reportedly already clearing out his office ahead of an imminent departure from the Bureau, meaning the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, and a potential return to the MAGA media circuit, the New York Times has reported. Bongino has told associates he could leave, quote, as soon as this week or as late as mid-January, end quote. People familiar with his plans told the New York Times on Wednesday. That's what they told the New York Times on Wednesday. He has not yet made a formal announcement. To back the claims, however, the newspaper, the New York Times, sources further revealed that Bongino has begun shipping office knickknacks and other personal belongings back to Florida, where he plans to resume his broadcasting career in time for the 2026 midterm elections. Now, my understanding is that Dan will come back to a bigger, better podcast, but not to a 3-hour-a-day call-in radio show. So that's what we're getting, and that is not the New York Times. I didn't hear that from Dan Bongino, but that's what's bouncing around. Sources told Fox News Digital that Bongino had not made a final decision and denied his office was empty. Didn't say it was empty, said he was emptying stuff out, but did add that he was expected to declare his intentions in the coming weeks. So Dan Bongino, as soon as this week, may leave the FBI. That's kind of a big deal, a big development. I've got a bit more on that coming up today as well.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
WMAL traffic from the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center. Rush hours finally winding down on 395. We're wide open as you head past Duke Street and Burlington. Now just a delay as you approach the 14th Street Bridge, then getting better onto the freeway. Inbound New York Avenue still slows between Florida Avenue and the 3rd Street Tunnel. Had a crash reported just after North Capitol Street within the delays. Maryland Route 32 eastbound, we have the road crew setting up before Route 1, and now we have a crash reported within the delays. Jammed just after 29. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Increasing clouds this afternoon, but warming up with a high 52. Partly cloudy overnight, low 30.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. True Vitality Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
True Vitality Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at True Vitality Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 703-637-1222. 703-637-1222. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 703-637-1222.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as...
Oh, there's little Randy. How's the Crohn's disease, Randy? You taking care of them kidney stones, are you? Make sure you eat right, drink plenty of fluids.
Seasonal new construction, and many other loan options. If
Randy,
you're dreaming of home ownership,
you need to eat a
Northern
high
will help you
protein,
get
low
into your
carbohydrate
new home
diet,
in
but you got to
3
reduce the
clicks of your
fat when you eat
heels.
the protein.
Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee,
Pork
know
fat
you're getting
is
the lowest
easier
rate
for your body to
possible. Our
digest
team
than
is here
beef
to help
fat
you
is.
along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern,
Did you
there's
want to
no
come up
place
on my
like home.
panel, Randy?
Northern Credit Union, mortgage
You want
magic
to come
in the
up
real
and make
world.
stupid
Call or text
comments in my back chat? Is that what you want to do, Randy?
315-782-0155 or apply online at
Here, I'll post a link
mynorthern.com.
for you.
Federally
Come on
insured
up.
and
I'll
CUA
treat you like a good guest. Come on up, Randy.
CDC recommends that people
Let's
aged
talk about
65 and
JC.
older,
Remember when she said that she had hair removed, claimed she had her
should
bikini
receive a
line
second
done?
dose of seasonal
Remember that,
COVID-19
Randy?
vaccine 2 to 6 months
Why is your
after
mother
their
a
last
lying
dose.
fucking bitch,
Learn
Randy?
more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Come on up, Randy. You chicken shit motherfucker. Randy's a chicken
It's
shit.
truck and SUV season
Randy's
at
a
Wichita
chicken shit.
Sales, a used car leader. Just look at the rows of
Randy,
trucks and the
remember
rows of
when I
SUVs
came in as
like
Cat,
a
the black
Ford
chick, and you put a
F-150
wrench on me?
XLT.
First
Yours for
comment.
just $37.99.
You thought the fucking
Or a
girls were coming to
2022
see you.
Mitsubishi Outlander, just $30,999. Or a beautiful Chevy truck Z71, yours for $26,999. Rows of trucks and rows of SUVs during
You guys ain't got
SUV
nothing, Randy. What are you gonna do, Randy?
Used car leader and out of Washington Street.
I'm gonna stream whether I have one viewer or fucking 35. Ain't nothing you can do about it, Randy. Because people watch my streams, whether they're watching it live or they go back and listen to it. Randy went back to Las Vegas saying hi to Catherine. Hi, Catherine. Another fucking fraud.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured and CUA, equal housing opportunity.
News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
And I've got more. I'm going to bring you more from the New York Times on Dan Bongino leaving the FBI. Got the pipe bombers, crackdown on crime, gangs, fighting crime, fighting for truth, justice, and the American way. Let's go to the telephones, Michael. Let's go to Donna, calling from Frederick, Maryland. Oh, Donna, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Good morning, Chris. I hope you're having a good week. What a news cycle this is. And it brings me to, after kind of poking around and doing some of my own research, it seems to me that apparently, and I don't know if this is fake MAGA delivering this information, also known as FAGA, which is sort of humorous by itself, but they're saying some of what I've read indicates that perhaps Susie Wiles worked under the Bush administration. So there's sort of this Rhino versus MAGA thing going on with respect to her. And so I'm looking at this with side eye, wondering why, as you mentioned, President Trump would allow her to do this media blitz. And I think it's all connected somehow, and eventually the truth will come out, wherever that leads us. Also, with respect to Dan, it's not like Dan to just abandon a post in the middle of a very important time. Perhaps there's more to that story as well. It's just my instinct speaking. You've taught me well, Chris. I look at everything very thoroughly and try to discern my own thoughts about it, and I just wanted to share it with you.
Well, very good. Thank you, Dad. Yeah, don't become cynical, but always be skeptical. And I got to tell you, since you brought up Dan again, I want to talk about the story about Dan Bongino again, and he's going to be back on the air soon. He'll be able to say whatever he wants.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10. Good morning, everyone. I'm John Matthews. Nick Reiner expected in court in Los Angeles today to face charges in the murder of his parents.
He now faces those 2 charges of first-degree murder, and the LA County DA said yesterday this could be a death penalty case.
These charges carry a maximum sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole or the death penalty.
32-year-old Nick Reiner is now represented by high-profile attorney Alan Jackson, who visited the Brentwood home of the Reiners where the murders happened.
Fox News' Jonathan Hunt. President Trump is ramping up pressure on Venezuela, ordering a full blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going in and out of the country.
President Trump wrote on Truth Social overnight, quote, Venezuela is completely surrounded by the largest armada ever assembled in the history of South America. It'll only get bigger until such time as they return to the U.S. all the oil, land, and other assets they previously stole from us. The illegitimate Maduro regime is using oil from these stolen oil fields to finance themselves, drug terrorism, human trafficking, murder, and even kidnapping. Now, this move comes after dictator Nicolas Maduro, again overnight, called the Trump administration thieves.
Fox News' Gillian Turner. President Trump will address the nation at 9 tonight in a speech you can hear live right here on WMAL.
The president previewed that speech saying, quote, I look forward to seeing you then. It's been a great year for our country, and the best is yet to come. The White House press secretary says the president will highlight his accomplishments over the past year: a secure border, lower inflation than its peak under the Biden administration, and reduced gas prices. She says the president may also tease some policies coming in the new year. Now, the president scheduled this address as prices do remain high, and polls show more Americans are disapproving of the White House handling of the economy, inflation, and trade.
Fox News' Rich Edson, the head of the D.C. police union, is calling for accountability on the heels of a report by the House Oversight Committee accusing police leaders of deliberately manipulated crime data.
You have these 7 commanders. They've all testified that for this entire time frame, a 2-year period, they were manipulating crime data. I mean, this is groundbreaking revelations here. I mean, this is a bombshell.
Police Union Chair Greg Pemberton telling WMAL's O'Connor and Company there were thousands of crimes deliberately downgraded.
That's a lot of criminals running around that weren't held accountable, that didn't end up in handcuffs. And that's a lot of victims who didn't even get a shred of justice.
Mayor Muriel Bowser's claims she's seen no evidence that police data was manipulated. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
A torch passed in the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors on Tuesday.
Congratulations, you're in.
Thank you. Fairfax County's newly elected Braddock supervisor has been sworn in. Rosna Sizemore Heiser replaces James Walkinshaw on the county board. She tells us her main focus will be affordability and creating new jobs that lean on Northern Virginia's strengths.
Defense tech, space tech. These are dual industries where they serve the federal government and can serve private sectors. Those are our strengths here, and that's what I want to build on.
Sizemore Heiser says she is also focused on the need to improve transportation systems within the county.
7 News' Adam Longo checking your money. The Dow is up 215 points at this hour. The Nasdaq's down 39. Up next, traffic and weather on WMAL.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet-or-beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
WMAL traffic and weather. Here is Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Rush hour finally settling down. 395 northbound delays clearing out across the inbound 14th Street Bridge. Maryland Route 32. Hang on, we are jammed. Roadwork is set up eastbound 32 as you approach Route 1, and delays are solid just after 29. Get you past 95 again toward Route 1. Avoid that area if you can. Save yourself some time. North of 175 works. Southbound, you could use 216 as the cross through. Roadwork slows the inbound Georgetown Pike before Swinks Mill Road to the Beltway. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
We are tracking big changes this afternoon for the first time in 3 weeks. Highs above average in the lower 50s. Dry this evening and not too cold as we fall out of the 40s and into the 30s. Tomorrow we're in the mid-50s with rain.
Forgets when she talked about having hair removed.
38 degrees right now at Reagan National. John Matthews, News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
Now on 105.9 FM and streaming worldwide.
That fucking son of a bitch does that like that. That's fucking weird. Conveniently forgets when she talked about having hair removed.
Yet to come, as he often says, and so he'll be addressing the country about all of his historic accomplishments over the past year, and maybe teasing some policy that will be coming in the new year as well as we head into this Christmas season.
Ah, yes, that was, of course, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. Lovely, talented, wonderful, honest, and talking about President Trump's big address to the nation tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern time. Set your DVRs. We do have the best music in all of radio. I'm not just talking talk radio. It's all of radio. Our music is the best. We don't have a lot of Nicki Minaj. Not a lot of Cardi B. Not a lot of Cardi B. Just the greats. Well, very good and happy Wednesday, too, and welcome back once again. We're dealing with a lot of madness in the United States of America. This week has been kind of a mad week, hasn't it? Under the big W. That's a mad world reference there. But I guess it started over the weekend with all kinds of madness and Rob Reiner and his wife being murdered by their son, Nick Reiner, in Brentwood, California, beautiful Los Angeles metroplex area with, I think, their $14 million house is where they were murdered, apparently by their own son. And we're learning today that the bodies apparently were left for 5 hours before their daughter walked in and discovered them. And rigor mortis had already set in, Rob Reiner and his wife. A terrible, horrible story, and the son was wandering off, walking through gas stations. Video has emerged, and psycho boy, all this stuff. Then we had Brown
Says her
University
husband
in
wanted
Providence,
her to
Rhode
do
Island,
it, but yet she
where
divorced
a lunatic
him.
went into a classroom and shot the place up, murdering 2 people, including I believe, 19-year-old young woman who was the vice president of the campus Republicans and killed an immigrant from, where is he from? Uzbekistan. I believe he's in Uzbek killed one Uzbek and one young lady who was the vice president of the campus Republican organization, and he wounded 9 more, and then he wandered off. And apparently the campus has 600 or 800 video cameras, and none of their video cameras captured the guy. Apparently they weren't working. They got Jeffrey Epstein cameras, and none of the cameras worked. But people had Ring doorbell cameras on their houses near the campus, and so a number of videos have emerged. But the police there in Providence, Rhode Island, doing a very unimpressive job, not an impressive job at all. So we've got that go. We got the Rob Reiner thing, then we got the Providence, Rhode Island, Brown University, another Ivy League college, mass shooting there, 2 people murdered and 9 more wounded. And that's completely crazy, right? And then we had in Australia the attack at the beginning of Hanukkah by 2 jihadis, 2 men, a father and son, who committed an anti-Semitic attack there at Bondi Beach, Sydney, Australia, a beach that I've been to in the past long ago, and remarkable things going on. And now we've got an MIT professor just shot to death in his Massachusetts home, shot repeatedly by somebody. Neighbors said they heard the door kicked in, and then they heard 3 shots, and there's a professor of nuclear science doing contract work with the Pentagon, according to reports, was gunned down in his home. And was it personal? Was it political? We don't know. But MIT professors are not often shot to death in their own homes. So that's kind of a big deal. It's a wacky week. Boy, is it a wacky week in America. And I think all of it's attributable to Democrats. Am I wrong? In Australia, they got a jihadi, and the Democrats, 2 jihadis. One of them was killed by the police. The other shot and wounded by the police. But whack-a-doodle-doo. And the Democrats, they're in bed with the jihadis. They prefer the jihad to, a Christmas and normal Western things, because they've been brainwashed by the left to be against everything normal. Why, we had the Chris Plant store, we have Remember Normal T-shirts and Remember Normal coffee mugs and Remember Normal good things, because we're on the precipice of losing all memory of what was normal, because the left is here to undo civilization. They're not liberals, they're the left. They're not Democrats, they're the left. And as that is happening, we have big news coming out of Washington, D.C., and the New York Times with the headline, FBI Director Kash Patel, eager for spotlight, he's eager for spotlight, casts aside caution in social media posts. Now, we're eager for spotlight. You mean that he's more transparent and open and providing information instantly from his brain to the American public by way of X, which I like to call Twitter. And the New York Times is attacking FBI Director Kash Patel for tweeting. You know what he's tweeting? Information, breaking news. But the New York Times is against it because they're not on the side of civilization. But the New York Times and the Mediaite people and the lefties, they're all spun up because inside of this hit piece in the New York Times on Kash Patel, the FBI director, they're doing that because they're racists. They're obviously racist. But they've got news about Dan Bongino in the New York Times piece that nobody's denying and appears to be real and everything. But we've got this from the New York Times. The fate of Mr. Patel's top deputy, Dan Bongino, another incendiary former podcaster and longtime Trump loyalist. That's how he's described. Leave out the fact that he was a Secret Service agent, federal law enforcement, protecting presidents of the United States, and he was on the Presidential Protective Detail, among other tasks, while with the Secret Service. And before that, he was with the NYPD. But they leave all that out because they're the filthy, dirty, stinking New York Times. They describe him as another incendiary former podcaster. Also had a nationally broadcast 3-hour radio show, terrestrial radio, which is not a podcast, in addition to his podcast. But never mind this. So the fate of Mr. Patel's top deputy, Dan Bongino, another incendiary former podcaster and longtime Trump loyalist, appears to be more settled, though not entirely certain. Well, which is it? It appears to be more settled, but not entirely. Okay, so we're hedging over here. We're just skipping him. Mr. Bongino, the New York Times writes, has said he plans to leave his job as soon as this week or as late as mid-January. Now, today is Wednesday, so if you're going to pack up this week, you got today, tomorrow. How does this work? Tomorrow, and you can still announce on Saturday, I think, but that's still this week. Mr. Bongino said he plans to leave his job as soon as this week, as late as mid-January, according to 3 people with knowledge of his plans. They talked to 2 people who told him that, but that wasn't enough. They didn't believe them. We're going to need a third source on this, right? New York Times says one sign it might be sooner rather than later, :
Remember when you used to
they
keep
love
me
their
blocked?
colons. There's no doubt about that. Mr. Bongino has been
Then you
sending
had a
office
wrench in
knickknacks
JC's
and
chat.
other possessions back to Florida, where he intends to resume his lucrative career as a pro-Trump media broadcaster in time for the midterm elections, they said. But you don't have to quit this week to be in time for the midterm elections, which are late next year. But the New York Times, they lose sight of everything that is true and accurate. So we got that. But Mr. Bongino's departure plans, like his brief tenure at the Bureau, have been steeped in vacillation and melodrama. I think I might make T-shirts that say vacillation and melodrama. And maybe with a jar of Vaseline on there, vacillation and melodrama. That's when they say vacillation, I think of the New York Times, they're referring to a lubricant. That's what I think. I don't think they're referring to flip-flopping, waffling. The New York Times continues, this month, Mr. Bongino suggested to associates that he might go out on a high note by sharing his plans to step down at a news conference, announcing the capture of a suspect in the planting of pipe bombs near the party headquarters of Democrats and Republicans on the eve of January 6, 2021 attack. Isn't it great? They don't refer to any of their riots as attacks. And on the eve of, there's no eve, they attacked the White House for 3 days, forced the Secret Service to evacuate the president and the first family to the underground nuclear bunker. They injured 180 police officers. They set fire to the Church of the Presidents, St. John's Church, historic 1815 church. They set it on fire. They burned the only building in Lafayette Park. And the New York Times never called that an attack. And there was never an eve. It was never on the eve of anything. The New York Times, they're more summer's eve, I think, than anything, aren't they? So there is, and it's the suggested he might step down, that he had a news conference announcing the capture. Now, the New York Times doesn't care that years later, they actually captured, and Dan Bongino on the radio and on his podcast had talked about making that a priority when he went to the FBI to catch the pipe bombers that the Biden Justice Department, the Biden FBI couldn't capture for years and years. And, no, that's okay because they're them, right? But Dan Bongino, Kash Patel went in, and you know what they did? They reviewed all of the information that already had been collected, and they found the guy because they looked at the information that had already been collected. But why didn't the FBI look at their own data under Biden and catch the guy? That's a fair question, right? And there should have been a big press conference there, but never mind that. So the attack. He even went out of his way to mend fences with Attorney General Pam Bondi, whom he had accused of bungling the investigation into the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, according to people briefed on the Exchange. Now, how could he indict Pam Bondi for bungling the investigation when it had been completed years before she became Attorney General? The New York Times is a lump in the punch bowl. It's floating in the punch bowl. It's like that. Mr. Bongino, the New York Times continues, Mr. Bongino's tenure as the second in command at the FBI has been marked by public statements that veer from pride to defiance to defensiveness. See, when the New York Times says pride, I know they're suggesting everybody's gay. That's the thing about them. He has turned to social media. Who hasn't? In an effort to justify the administration's actions. You mean to slap down phony reporting by the New York Times? That is a lot of bourgeois. And appease many in his podcast audience who thought he had backed away from the brash promises he made before he took the job. He made brash promises like he's going to catch the pipe bomber. And then they looked at the already collected evidence, and they caught the pipe bomber. But never mind that. The New York Times is on the wrong side of history. I got a little borrow a Democrat phrase there. This month, he acknowledged the tensions between his current and former roles, being a broadcaster and then being an FBI official. They love this quote. The New York Times keeps quoting this over and over again. I was paid in the past, he was talking to Sean Hannity. I was paid in the past, Sean, for my opinions. Sure, that's clear. And one day I'll be back in that space, he told Sean Hannity on Fox News. But that's not what I'm paid for now. I'm paid to be your deputy director, and we base investigations on facts. And now what the New York Times is doing is saying, oh, sure, now facts, but when you were podcasting and broadcasting, no facts there. The New York Times is, honestly, it's like the journalistic equivalent of colorectal cancer. Don't you think? I think it is. Mr. Patel and Mr. Bongino have upended the carefully cultivated image of FBI leadership as tight-lipped professionals who avoid, whenever possible, publicly commenting on open cases or even the suggestion that they're allied with any party or politician. Yeah, you guys should have covered the FBI under the 4 years of the Biden administration and maybe the 8 years of the Obama administration, where they politicized in a third world Soviet-style way all of our federal law enforcement agencies to target their political enemies, from the IRS to the FBI to the Justice Department to the intelligence communities to the felonious 51. They're third world gutter dwellers. Just saying. But that's the New York Times on Dan Bongino. Everything's a hit piece with these fascists. And then they firebombed a synagogue. You know, it's the New York Times. That's what they do. You know that the all-new third-generation Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier is finally available to all of us, and it builds on the incredible success of the previous two generations, which had already earned thousands of five-star reviews on Al Gore's amazing internet. The new Thunderstorm uses two technologies that studies have proven help to kill up to 99.9% of bacteria and viruses floating in the air that you breathe, that your family breathes. Also removes dust and pet dander and smoke and a whole lot more from the air, and it gets rid of any stinky odor. The Thunderstorm will help get rid of any stinky smell, guaranteed. Talking about kitty litter boxes, trash cans, cigarette smoke, liberals, even liberal protesters, musty basements are no match for the Eden Pure Thunderstorm. And right now, because we hang out together, you can save $200 American on an Eden Pure Thunderstorm 3-pack for whole home protection. You can also make one a gift. Put one in your basement, your teenager's room, your family room, any place you like to breathe clean, fresh air. Just go to EdenPureDeals.com. Use the discount code Chris3 to save $200 on 3 Thunderstorms. That's EdenPureDeals.com. The discount code is Chris and the number 3. Boom, boom, boom. So between Vanity Fair and the New York Times, well, they're true to their word, aren't they? The media.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
You are at me and I feel complete. Then you come at me like the Wolverine. And even though you often turn your back on me, our love goes deeper than a submarine. No, I don't want clay dust.
Our love goes deeper than a submarine.
Goes in the place you put.
It's the first time I've heard this.
Or in your box, our love will be pure.
World's best cat litter.
Advertisement for cat
CDC
litter.
recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise receive a second dose of COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Schedule at KinneyDrugs.com or walk into any Kinney pharmacy.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text,
Yes,
chat,
from time to time I listen to
if
Charlamagne.
substance use issues.
He's on the radio. Yeah, it's a radio show.
Talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do.
But he's on XM radio.
A message from the
I can get it without paying for it.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, season, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union. Mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
It's the gaming event of the year, featuring T-Pain's Nappy Boy Grizzlies versus Neo's Gentleman's Gaming. It's a 4v4 matchup featuring Call of Duty, Tetris, Trackmania, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3+4, and Tekken 8. Season 0 of the Global Gaming League is live streaming on YouTube and Twitch. Head over to globalgamingleague.com.
This afternoon on the Derek Hunter Show, the president prepares to address the nation. Democrats prepare to freak out about whatever he says. We'll talk about it at 3 o'clock on WMAL.
All right, let us return to the telephones, Michael. Let us go to Michael, calling from Binghamton, New York. Miguel, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Hey, good morning, Chris. Thanks for taking my call.
Hey, Michael. Yeah, man, that's why we're here, buddy.
Yeah. So I had a couple comments to make. One has to do with the terrible death of Rob Reiner and his wife. As sad as that is, I noticed that on the media, the same media they kept talking about no kings have labeled him as Hollywood royalty. And the state that seems to be so progressive and want to release other violent criminals are now potentially calling for execution of their son. So because it's one of their own, their Hollywood royalty, an example needs to be made.
That is fascinating. Really good spot. Very well done. I hadn't put those pieces together, and that's pretty great. Yeah, that's right. No kings, and then they revert to form, because when they're talking about themselves, well, they naturally are royalty, right? That's great. Great catch. Yeah. Crazy, man.
And another comment I wanted to make has to do with inflation, and your comment earlier about Iran potentially naming a town or a village or a piece of machinery or whatever after Barack Hussein Obama.
Yeah.
Apparently, $150 billion cash doesn't get you what it used to.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. Great call.
This is the Chris Plant Show.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington, a Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 10:30. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. President Trump says he's ordered a blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers into Venezuela, ramping up pressure on authoritarian leader Nicolas Maduro. On Truth Social, the president claiming Venezuela was using oil to fund drug trafficking. Venezuela's government says the U.S. is violating international law. Nick Reiner due to be arraigned on first-degree murder charges in Los Angeles today in the murder of his parents, Rob and Michelle Reiner. The 32-year-old could ultimately face the death penalty. Authorities have not disclosed a motive. A new UMBC poll finds Marylanders' optimism that the Francis Scott Key Bridge will be replaced quickly is fading. More than half, 54%, say it'll take 5 to 10 years to open a new span. A quarter of the respondents are holding out hope it can be done in 5 years or less. Governor Moore had initially vowed to open the bridge by 2028. Traffic and weather next.
This report is sponsored by Miracle on 34th Street, the musical at Capital One Hall. Capital One Hall in Tysons presents Miracle on 34th Street, the musical. A joyous, heartwarming musical for pure family entertainment. December 26th through 28th on stage for 5 performances only this holiday season. Tickets on sale now at CapitalOneHall.com.
Jamie Whitten in the Hadid Carpet Cleaning Traffic Center.
Beltway looks great between 270 and Tysons. No road work set up on the American Legion Bridge, and we're just buzzing along. Outer loop between Colesville Road and George Avenue, we do have a bit of volume. Roadwork slows 32 eastbound before you get to I-95 heading around to Route 1. You lose 1 lane, and roadwork slows 210 northbound heading toward the light at Palmer Road. Delays beginning before Old Fort Road North. Southbound 95 heavy into Woodbridge. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Clouding up with a high of 50. It is 40 at Reagan National. I'm John Matthews. News Talk 105.9 WMAL.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Yes, it's me again. Are you prepped? Woo. Prep, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. It's the time for empowerment, and I've got a message for you. You gotta think about sexual health, no matter what, when, with who, yeah. To all your lovers out there, ain't no judgment, this is your cue. It's time to talk about pre-exposure prophylaxis, a part of HIV prevention. So talk to a healthcare provider and visit carefortheculture.com to learn more.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
WMAL, more than just politics, because laughter is the best medicine. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
Yes. They shouldn't have done the interview at Vanity Fair with Mr. Whipple. Mr. Whipple. He's a please don't squeeze the Sherman guy, right? Please don't squeeze the Sherman. Democrats. They're not on the side of anything good, are they? No, they're not. And it's Wednesday, which means it's mailbag day. We have a pretty good idea what's going on at the Clinton household. Which household we can't be sure, but there it is. And before I get to more stuff, and we have our mailbag questions. Let's go to another phone call, Michael. Let's go to Ross, calling from Front Royal, Virginia. Ross, you're on the Chris Plant Show.
Thank you, Chris, for letting me be on here. Hey, I was listening earlier when you were giving the list of all the craziness that has been going on this past week, but you forgot one that definitely needs to be really noted in the world of what happened the other day when the FBI thwarted this group of people in California that were building IEDs and were going to drop them off on New Year's Eve. That to me is very big, and it should be up there on top of all these other stories too.
You're 100% right, and you're right that I was remiss in not getting to that immediately. And I talked about it at some length yesterday. They're left-wingers. They're California left-wingers. 4 people arrested, 2 male allegedly, 2 female allegedly. They gave themselves code names or nicknames. They created this crazy group. They're anti-American, anti-capitalist, pro-Palestinian, which just means they're mainstream Democrats, I think, Ross, doesn't, at this point. And they're planning on detonating at least 5 bombs on New Year's Eve. And then one of their cohorts in New Orleans was planning on detonating at least 1 explosive device in New Orleans on New Year's Eve, too. But these guys, they call themselves the Turtle Island Liberation Front, right? Which they do abbreviate as TILF, which is a little like MILF, but different. It's not the turtle version of MILF, but they got the Turtle Island Liberation Front. So the turtle I'd like to fondle or something like that. Isn't that amazing? But the TILF, and they were planning on blowing up on New Year's Eve, and that would have changed our New Year's Eve celebration, wouldn't it have, Ross?
Yeah. And that's the scariest part, because between them and the other one that planted the IEDs in Washington, D.C., we're getting into what was going on in the Middle East when I used to work there many years ago.
Yeah, that's a fact. You worked in the Middle East, and I was going to say the bad old days, but it's not like they've had good old days, have they?
Nope.
Because these are more bad old days in the Middle East, aren't they?
Yes, but it's coming to our shores as we speak.
It genuinely is, because the Democrats are importing the jihad, right, Ross? And the Democrats are radical leftists, and nobody murders more people than the jihadis, except for the left. The left, in the last 100 years, the last century, The left has murdered more people than any gang of barbarians in the history of humankind. And we take this stuff very casually. The TILF, the Turtle Island Liberation Front. We were playing the Monty Python audio yesterday of them, talking about the Palestinian Liberation Front and the Front for Palestinian Liberation. But the Democrat Party, they're firebombing Jews. They're who knows who assassinated this MIT professor in his home. We learned about it yesterday. I guess he was shot and killed day before yesterday. Although he was shot and then it took him hours and hours to die. But these people, these lefties, they're free Palestine, free Hawaii, free Puerto Rico, free Puerto, they're all free. They're the freest places in the world. But these people will enslave you. There's no doubt about it. Freeing the world from American imperialism is the only way to a safe and peaceful future. This is the Turtle Island Liberation Front. And were you listening yesterday, Ross, when I decoded Turtle Island? Did you hear about this?
Unfortunately, I had to work yesterday, but
somebody's got to work.
I listen to you every time I can.
No. It's everybody's got to work. Almost everybody, except Democrats, I think. But it turns out that Native Americans centuries ago referred to North America as Turtle Island. Turtle Island, North America. It's a big island, Turtle Island, and there are some turtles here and there. And so Native Americans, because they got it all figured out, they called North America Turtle Island. And then they called Earth, maybe different Indian tribes or something, called Earth Turtle Island. It's Turtle Island. So the Democrats, these lunatic terrorists, and did you see, Ross, the video? The FBI had drones overhead making videos of these Democrats out in the desert in California, experimenting with and detonating bombs so they could learn how to make bombs. They are the radical Islam of the 21st century, and they call themselves the Democratic Party.
I saw those videos. Chris, one last thing before you go, and I'll put it in. January 17th, Lobby Day in Richmond. As you well know, they want to take away our Second Amendment rights, and they're going to use the whole what happened there in Australia. And what we need to make sure we know is if there's been one person, just one person able to protect themselves, they could have taken out that guy from a distance. Think of what happened in Indiana at a shopping mall with a crazy with a gun. All it takes is one person to have done that. We need to have all the help we can in Richmond to stop these crazies from taking away our Second Amendment right, because that's our last level of defense that we have against these crazies that will come to our shore unabated like they are in Europe and in Australia. We don't need it here.
That is a fact. We need to take control of our own country. We need to have an interest in saving our culture. The left has no interest in saving our culture, Ross. The left is hostile to our culture in the United States and more broadly to Western civilization and certainly to Christendom, because they're godless, atheist, baby slaughtering, or organ harvesting terrorists every time you look up. And I got to tell you, the TILF, the Turtle Island Liberation Front, I love the use of Liberation Front. I mean, to me, that smacks of Monty Python every time I hear it. And then they have a subgroup. They call themselves the Order of the Black Orchid. The Order of the Black Orchid. They're living in the Middle Ages. They're mental. Ross, what were you doing in the Middle East all those exciting years ago?
I used to work with an organization called JIDE, or Joint IED Defeat Organization, and I worked with units there to help reach back to help fight IEDs, because it was the Manhattan Project. It's time to stop the slaughter of both those in the Middle East and, of course, of American soldiers. And we used anything and everything we could to fight them. And it was a very intense fight, as you well know.
Yeah. All right, buddy. I got to tell you, Ross, great stuff. Glad you called in. Glad you reminded me of the TILF, and the Order of the Black Orchid, because the Democrats are forming death groups across the United States, and they don't know what gender is. We have a Supreme Court justice who's a woman who can't tell us what a woman is. We've got we're living in a very strange time, Ross. And it all goes back to the Democrat Party. It really, really does. I know it's easy to just say it, and it sounds like, oh, yeah, it's the Democrats' fault. But when you look at each individual instance of lunacy, all the arrows go back to the Democrat Party.
So true.
You know, and it's not like the Republican Party is the greatest thing ever to land on earth, because the Republican Party needs a lot of help most of the time too, and historically have come up short all over the place. But the left has taken over the Democrat Party, and the Democrat Party is dead as we knew it when we were growing up. The Democrat Party was one thing, and boy, it's another thing today. Very much another thing. And the FBI thwarts New Year's Eve bombings by the Turtle Island Liberation Front. How absurd. The Order of the Black Orchid. And they're all anti-capitalist, anti-Israel, pro-Hamas, which is what pro-Palestinian means, is being pro-Hamas. They're pro-mass murder. They're pro-kidnapping and rape and murder. The Democrat Party they're really coming alive as the left, as the Soviet left that the left always was in the 20th century. And the Democrat Party breathing life back into the old murderous, car-bombing, kidnapping, murdering left, and the terror groups. Again, the Turtle Island Liberation Front, and they're making 5 IEDs to blow up corporate targets. Just amazing stuff. And it is entirely in the mainstream of the Democrat Party, and all their talking points are the talking points that the Democrat Party issues about being quote unquote pro-Palestinian, when really you're pro-Hamas, you're pro-terror. It just means you're a genocidal anti-Semite when you say that you're pro-Palestinian. You know, the Palestinians living in the Gaza Strip had it better than any Arabs living anywhere in the Arab world because of Israel, who provided all their electricity, their fresh, clean drinking water, their medicine, their supplies, their food, everything. And the Israelis provided all of it, because otherwise these guys would be scrounging through the dirt with their fingernails looking for grub worms to eat. Not to put too fine a point on it. But Ross, a great call. Glad you weighed in. I thank you.
Okay, have a great day.
Thank you. You too. Yeah, FBI thwarts New Year's Eve bombing by Turtle Island Liberation Front. Newsweek magazine. It sounds like Saturday Night Live. It sounds like a satire.
Glad you said the life with a turtle boy was not for you.
I realize now. Turtles are in your blood.
Turtle boy couldn't ask for a better woman than you.
Turtle boy couldn't ask for a better woman than you. We were talking about that Steve Martin long ago on Saturday Night Live, back when they were funny. And he was Turtle Boy. He wasn't a cowboy. He was a turtle boy, and he's ride turtles around. And now these guys have become, again, they take, in the Liberation Front, we played it, yes, but Saturday Night Live with Turtle Boy works in perfectly, and Monty Python way back when with the Turtle Boy Liberation Front.
Are you the Judean People's Front? Off. What? Judean People's Front. Well, the People's Front of Judea.
See, it's a completely different thing. But the Democrats, they're still sorting through their Monty Pythonisms.
Oh, where are the populations?
Now they're the Turtle Island Liberation Front, the Democrat Party is, and they're planning on blowing up everything on New Year's Eve in Los Angeles, and couldn't think of a nicer place, and New Orleans, always a party there, isn't it? But since we were just listening to John Cleese there on that clip from, that was Life of Brian, right? Life of Brian, and the Judean People's Front and all that good stuff. It's, these guys were making fun of this stuff in the 1970s and the 1980s, British funny people on British television, on Monty Python, and then the movies they made, great stuff. But I got to tell you, James Carville is a longtime Democrat. The guy, when Bill Clinton was boinking every intern he could sink his creepy child molesting clause into, it was James Carville that came up with the line, you never know, or it's amazing what you'll turn up when you drag $100 bill through a trailer park. And that was him smearing and inciting violence against all the women that have accused Bill Clinton accused Bill Clinton of sexually abusing them, right? And James Carville, he's one of the bad guys, the war room. He used to have something of a mind. He was married to, I guess he still is, Republican political consultant Mary Matlin, who last time I saw her, but she's kind of disappeared by her own choice. They were still married last time I looked, but she wasn't insane. He's completely insane. And he's out there. We had to beep him. That's what reminded me was John Cleese having to beep John Cleese there. But James Carville it was yesterday or night before last, just yesterday, a video posted of James Carville, and this is today's Democrat Party. They're not what happened to the MIT professor who was shot to death in his own home in Brookline, Mass? But who's the gunman at Brown University in Rhode Island, in Providence, Rhode Island? It's the mysteries go on and on, and the reality is you're going to find Democrats at the end of every one of these rainbows. See, rainbows, they put everything at the end of a rainbow. They love rainbows. James Carville being himself.
We have 3 years to go with a man who's not only massively, and I mean massively corrupt, but I'm not sure possesses the basic elements of humanity. And I'm not sure he's not getting worse. It's not up to me because frankly, I wouldn't put this down his damn throat if his heart was on fire.
I'm sorry. It's Trump derangement syndrome on parade. 3 years left, and he's the most corrupt. I'm sorry. Wasn't the Biden the Biden family taking in millions and millions of dollars from Ukraine? Hunter Biden is $995,000 a year or something from Burisma, the Ukrainian gas company, natural gas company. Hunter Biden had never worked in energy, never worked in natural gas, never worked in Ukraine, doesn't speak the language, had no reason to get a job on the board of Burisma. Burisma was the company that was being investigated for all kinds of corruption and spreading money around to corrupt actors around the world. President Trump made a phone call about all of that and was impeached for it, right? For the just amazing stuff. I'm telling you. And James Carville, what did he say? He wouldn't I'll clean it up, whiz down Trump's throat, meaning urinate, if his heart was on fire. That's what he said.
Frankly, I wouldn't put this down his damn throat if his heart was on fire.
There you go. I guess that's hate. I know if you were on fire, I'd consider whizzing on you, but I'm a more compassionate person than you are. You've heard me talk about this great, we used it at home last night, Chef IQ Sense. It's the wireless cooking thermometer that takes all the guesswork out of your holiday meals and then all the meals all year long, too. Your roast, your turkey, used it on a turkey breast last night, or prime rib comes out perfectly every time. And it turns the I think it's done into I know it's perfect. It even tells you when to flip your food, when to take it off the heat, and how long to let it sit and rest on the counter before you start carving it. It's like having your own personal chef in the room. It's good stuff. With Chef IQ, you can sit comfortably and sip your cocoa, actually spend time with your own family, instead of hovering over the oven and peeking every minute or so. And here's the best part. It's the gift everyone will love. Perfect for professional cooks, for seasoned chefs, for kitchen rookies, and for everyone in between. This season, give yourself and the people that you love at Christmas time the gift of perfectly cooked meals all year long with Chef IQ. And with my promo code PLANT, that's my last name, you can save an additional 30% and get your shopping done before Christmas. Just go to chefiq.com. Use the promo code PLANT, PLANTE, at chefiq.com. Yes, sir. Yeah, our media. Do you hear one of the great things about us? Ross called in to say, you left this out. You should have put this in. CNN doesn't do that. ABC News doesn't do that.
You're listening to The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
Not planning today can cost you tomorrow. Stop worrying and start planning with Trajan Wealth. Contact Trajan today at 202-750-3300 or go to TrajanWealth.com. Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Paid advertisement.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, seasonal, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meter-beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels, or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, Equal Housing Opportunity.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at kinnydrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Save over $200 when you book weekly stays with Verbo this winter. If you haven't seen your college besties since, well, college, you need a week to catch up in a snowy cabin. Take a week-long vacation and save over $200. Book now at Verbo.com.
It's truck and SUV season at Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader. Just look at the rows of trucks and the rows of SUVs ready for winter, like a Ford F-150 XLT, yours for just $37,999. How about a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, just $20,999? Or a beautiful Chevy Truck Z71, yours for $26,999. Rows of trucks and rows of SUVs during truck and SUV season at the veteran-owned Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader on out of Washington Street, or online at widgetautosales.com.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
O'Reilly. Check engine, ABS, or maintenance light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. The service is free and provides a report with solutions verified by ASE certified master technicians. And if you need help, we can recommend a shop for you. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at kinnydrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Yes, it's me again. And we prepped. Woo! Prep. Oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. It's the time for empowerment. And I've got a message for you. You gotta think about sexual health. No matter what, where, with who, yeah. To all you lovers out there, ain't no judgment. This is your cue. Yeah. It's time to talk about pre-exposure prophylaxis, a part of HIV prevention. Oh, so you talk to a healthcare provider and visit carefortheculture.com to learn more.
WMAL, making sense of education, because what's happening in your kid's school matters. Download the WMAL app to stream us for free.
I've got a soundbite I want to play for you of Debbie Was-A-Man Schnitz, whose makeup has been applied by a paint gun, like paintballs. Got that. Wait till you hear what she said when she was asked about jihad, about the dangers of jihad. You'll never guess. If you go ahead and take a guess, because I'm going to play the soundbite for you in a couple minutes when we come back. And Debbie Was-A-Man Schnitz, and I have a great headline too. Groundbreaking new study on Islamophobia. That would be an irrational fear of Islam. And I've got that coming up. And lots more news. News is happening even as we sit here. And the Babylon Bee. I love the Babylon Bee. Coming up.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. A Cumulus media station. Making sense of the news. News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News at 11. Good morning. I'm John Matthews. Nick Reiner, the son of the late actor and director Rob Reiner, and his wife Michelle, is due to be arraigned in court today on first-degree murder charges.
Nick Reiner is now being represented by high-profile attorney Alan Jackson. He has previously represented Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein. We still don't have a full timeline of
Harvey Weinstein.
What we do have is some gas station
there's a good one.
Camera video that shows Nick Reiner walking past just before midnight Saturday. That, we assume, is shortly before he allegedly killed his parents, given that the charging documents say quite clearly that happened on Sunday. And we know, of course, he was arrested around 9 p.m. Sunday.
Fox News' Jonathan Hunt in Los Angeles. The head of the D.C. Police Union wants heads to roll following bombshell reports of crime data being manipulated.
It's thousands of reports that they investigated and found were misclassified.
Union Chair Greg Pemberton on the House and DOJ reports noting the swift exit of Police Chief Pamela Smith.
So obviously this quote-unquote resignation was not just some family issue that she decided she was done with police work.
Telling WMAL's O'Connor and Company he wants accountability.
So now everybody else is going to blame her since she's gone, and it's going to be a bunch of finger-pointing for 3 months until we move on to the next subject.
Pemberton expressing no confidence in the current police leadership team. Barbara Britt, WMAL and WMAL.com.
U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro says her office is taking an active role in checking to see if the books were cooked by police in D.C.
Now we're in a situation with President Trump and the Attorney General Pam Bondi, where every case is being looked at. Every case is being reviewed by my office. So if it appears that the crime is...
Angie in Vegas saying politics is boring. Well, you're boring, Angie. Nobody wants to watch your fucking dumb shit. You're one fucking boring woman. And then there's Chrissy. I don't give a shit about politics. That's what JC says when that's what they're Trump haters.
Board of Supervisors Tuesday.
Congratulations, you're
Stephanie blocks me, but she probably still sees me when I post. They're lying right to your face, Stephanie. They don't like you because apparently you support Trump. You said you're a conservative. I'm not restreaming Vegas, but I'm reading it. Go live, JC. Let's restream each other. I'll come up on your panel. I bet you get a lot of views if I did, JC. How many views would JC get if she opened her panel, brought Billy Hayden up, and talked to him one-on-one like adults? Don't let nobody up, JC. Just you and I. Let's have a conversation. Come on, let's do this. Peace on earth, goodwill towards men. You're such a good Samaritan. Come on, JC, let's do it. You're denying about the hair removal shit. Coffee Man let it out of the bag because he said you had it removed off your face. That's where women get hair removed from. Women don't get their fucking armpit hair removed. Oh, it took me 2 years. What a lying fucking bitch you are, JC. And then there's that Chrissy bitch, right? Say, I don't give a shit about politics. Yeah, you do. You and Siberian Gal Pal, all you fuckers out there just hate Trump. You hate success. People who succeed. People around Trump succeed. His casinos failed. He had to file bankruptcy. Well, you know, any man who says he's never failed at anything has never tried anything. Not sure what business logical fallacy runs. Randy's just a lot boy. Motherfucker doesn't realize if he became a salesman, he could make more money than what he's doing. He's happy with being mediocre. Aren't you, Randy? Randy, you didn't dare come up on my fucking panel. You guys always calling people names and everything. Come on up here, fatso. You're the fatso. This ain't fat. That's not fat. DA, you're a chicken shit motherfucker. The people waving at me, fucking blowing their horn. Are you gonna call cops again there, fucking Alpesh? Fucking pud puller? Oh, Pud's a pussy. No, it's not. You are a pussy. Fucking weakling motherfucker. The fuck have you ever done in your lifetime, Alpesh?
Southbound, you're on the brakes as you push into Woodbridge. Roadworks slows the trip on 66.
Says he's doing office work.
Lead Road, the left lane of 2 is blocked. DC 295 roadwork slows us each direction, approaching and passing Benning Road. Road crews are set up on Georgia Avenue inside the Beltway near Seminary Road. Southbound delays begin before the Beltway. Now from GarageDoorRepair.com, the WMAL Stormwatch 7 forecast.
Angie talking about, politics is boring. Fucking deadbeat mother. I wanted to like you, Angie. I tried to like you, Angie. In fact, I made you laugh a few times, but look at you. Where are you, Tammy? About it, Tammy Holt. You fucking stupid bitch.
We joined in mourning all of those who were killed, and we're praying for the swift recovery of the wounded. Some are very horrifically wounded, as you probably know. All nations must stand together against the evil forces of radical Islamic terrorism, and we're doing that.
President Trump yesterday was talking about the radical Islamic jihadi massacre in Sydney, Australia, at Bondi Beach. He wasn't talking about the other radical Islamic jihadi massacres in the last week or so. I believe he was just talking about Australia. Welcome back to hour number three. And it is mailbag day, and hour number 3, we're getting into the mailbag questions, the queries, if you will, that I have in front of me. But before we get to that, I just mention that the former Democratic National Committee chairwoman, chairperson, genderless, Debbie Was-A-Man Schnitz, member of the House of Representatives, a big-time Democrat, chair of the DNC. That's a big deal. And Debbie Was-A-Man Schnitz, as she has always been known. She was on, who was she on with, Michael? She was on News Nation, And they asked her a question. And
Debbie Wasserman Schultz is a congresswoman, or was, from Florida.
What is worse? What's worse? What's a bigger problem for us? Jihad or Islamophobia? And now a phobia is an irrational fear of something. May have an irrational fear of driving over bridges or something like that, an irrational fear. But here comes the question from some dim-witted Democrat who's paid lots of money by News Nation to ask ridiculous questions like this. And listen, so the question is, it's an either-or question. Choose A or choose B. The worst thing of all is jihad or it's Islamophobia? And what do you think Debbie Wasserman-Schnitz is going to answer? It sounded like this.
What is the bigger threat to America right now, American values, American life? Islamophobia or jihad?
I think we have to focus, quite frankly, on, if we're worried about the threat to American values, on the person who's in the White House.
Wait a minute. What's the bigger threat, jihad or Islamophobia? The answer is Trump.
A former congresswoman.
She's mentally ill.
From Florida.
She's severely mentally
ill.
From
Florida.
Severely mentally ill Democrat. A SMID. S-M-I-D. Severely mentally ill Democrat. A SMID. And so the question seemed like a reasonably clear question. What is the bigger threat to our culture? The actual jihad, which is very real, and they'll kill your Jewish butt, Debbie Wasserman-Schnitz.
They'll kill you even if you're not Jewish.
And that's pretty funny, the Islamophobia. We were talking about this today, and Michael Piercy remembered a Norm Macdonald. Remember Norm Macdonald? He used to be very funny when he was alive, and he stopped being funny after he died, but very funny. And he tweeted in 2016, Norm Macdonald tweeted, "What terrifies me is if ISIS were to detonate a nuclear device and kill 50 million Americans, imagine the backlash against peaceful Muslims." So he's telling a little joke. Imagine the backlash against peaceful Muslims. Norm Macdonald was a funny guy, a funny man. That's a funny joke.
You're not going to use my picture in my chat.
Ridiculous. And
fuck off.
Who was it? Who sent this morning? Was it Randy that sent this? It's the Babylon Bee. I'll reveal up front. There's a headline and there's
not clone night.
And the three photographs are the first
maybe tonight we'll play clone night, clone and troll night.
The World Trade Center in New York, and the smoke and balls of fire and all that stuff. The second photograph is a row of men in orange jumpsuits on their knees with their hands tied behind their back, and jihadis dressed in all black have big knives, and they're about to decapitate them on the beach.
No, I'm not narcissistic like you
and
are.
The third picture is one of the Muslim jihadis at Bondi Beach in Sydney, Australia, the other day, with his rifle raised, and he's shooting down the Jews at the Hanukkah festival. And the headline from the Babylon Bee.
A lot cooler than you are, though. I can tell you that right now.
Groundbreaking new study.
Fucking idiot.
Finds Islamophobia.
Fuck you. That's you, JT. Fuck you.
By Muslims killing people all the time. It's by Muslims killing people all the time in the name of Islam, because that's the thing, isn't that?
I think your girlfriend still has a wrench in here. I'm not sure.
The people at the Babylon Bee.
I had to go check.
Well, they're funny.
I think I did remove a couple. I know I removed CB's wrench. That didn't work out.
Yes, sir.
Didn't last very long.
It's Donald Trump. It's what's the bigger threat? Radical Islamic jihad waging war against Western civilization, or Donald Trump? Oh, definitely.
Xenophobia. Oh, you guys have a fear of immigrants. Fucking stupid.
Because we had the Babylon
fuck you,
Bee,
JC.
there's the other
fuck you, Wiggin.
Not the
fucking
bee.
morons.
Not the bee. You got to point out that they're not the Babylon
shit,
Bee.
motherfuckers.
And they got a picture of Ilhan
Go live.
Omar. I don't know if you caught this the other day, but there was a story that broke that Ilhan Omar, who's a communist and a jihadi, and she would kill your children with an axe, given half a second to do so. But Ilhan Omar, this is an interesting story. Ilhan Omar, Democrat Congresswoman squad member, Ilhan Omar says ICE pulled her son over at Target. What was he doing? Driving?
Keep lying, JC. You stupid bitch.
Target. ICE says it didn't happen.
Bottom line is, JC, you won't stream. Why?
The Washington Post doesn't cover the news.
Taking a break?
Doesn't cover the news. But
it's not just because of me. It's all the other people that fucking ping on you.
Says ICE
all them
pulled
stupid
her
drunks.
Her son over. At Target, ICE says it didn't.
Yeah,
happen.
Otto talking about
Yes,
your pussy and you had a
was,
hysterectomy. You're an old ugly bitch.
She's out here claiming
you won't turn your
that
camera
her kid
on.
Got pulled over by ICE. Right? Ilhan Omar confirms. DC Drano online. Ilhan Omar confirms
I don't
her
brag
son was
about if
pulled
I look
over
good
and
or anything
detained
like
by
that.
ICE. See, and he's not an illegal alien. He's just a jihadi.
I'm actually a normal person.
Did get pulled over by ICE agents, and once he was able to produce his passport ID,
with his passport.
Jesse fucking Ventura.
He always carries it with him.
Why? Because he's planning on fleeing the country after he blows something up. I'm just curious. President Trump also recently announced that Ilhan Omar was under investigation for marrying her brother. See, that's kind of and here's I think the best headline I saw out of this was Ilhan Omar's son, nephew, pulled over by ICE. See, because she married her brother, so her son is also the son of her brother.
You are dead, Angie.
Her brother's son would be her nephew, so her son is also her nephew.
Angie Fox, you're nothing but a fucking race baiter. JC's not streaming. What do you have now? Vegas chat. You're a deadbeat mother. I never fucking laughed so hard when fucking Tammy made you cry. She said she was going to make you cry. Oh, a trick baby. You fucking left JC's panel crying because of Tammy. You're a fucking fake, a fraud, and a phony. You ain't got no boyfriend. You ain't got no fucking job. You're in fucking chat all the time. All the time you're in chat. You never leave chat. You're always, I got 2 minutes before I got to be to work. Same thing with Randy. If Randy had a more important job, he wouldn't have time to be in a fucking YouTube chat. Fucking lot boy tire washer. Fucking morons. Come on up, JC. Run your fucking mouth. I'll let you. Come on up, JC. You're welcome to come up. I let anybody on my panel. You know, if you're disrespectful and shit, that's one thing. But, you know, if you want to have a conversation. Keith's all right. I don't blame Keith for not going in there, to be honest with you. I don't care how he dresses. I give a shit. Keith's just another one who knows who I am. And more than likely, you're probably Keith. All I got to say, though, JT, don't you ever say I want anything to do with JC in a good light, because I hate that fucking person. I hate that fucking bitch. And you've used my mother's picture. You never knew me until last year after I went live. Never heard of you, didn't know who you are, any handles you might have had if you were already streaming, and you jump on that fucking bandwagon, JT. And I let you in my chat. Now, you've seen how I've treated Rusty, and there's a good reason for me doing that. I could be like the rest and just fucking rag on her. Just to rag on her. But I don't rag on somebody unless there's something fucking mentally wrong with them. JC has mental issues. She's even admitted being on fucking mental drugs. You don't own shit. You don't own shit. You guys are afraid to come in here because Rusty has a wrench. And I'll let her use it. But she doesn't use it. Well, I mean, she might have. You guys want to get fucking real nasty. You're an idiot, Dad. You guys got all them friends, and all you do, you spend every day thinking about that woman. Why won't JC stream? Go live, JC. Let's do this. Come on. I won't turn you in for restreaming me.
And she does live in an 8.
I've never turned anybody in for restreaming me. Never will.
From former Bill Clinton guy, but they do live in this big mansion by the mosque, and it's signed Big Mike.
Just say what you want. It doesn't make it true. JC won't stream. Why? Come on, JC. Put up. It's fucking Christmas. Figured you'd be selling Christmas and showing off the presents you got all your grandchildren and shit. Oh, you're so fucking rich and powerful.
Heard Mike the Lib call in many times.
Oh, Christmas tree, oh, Christmas tree. I want to tie JC to you. I'm going to tie you to a tree, JC.
That may or may not be the explanation, but I'm just going to throw that out there. Thank you, Big Mike, for the question.
Did you ever find a job down in Louisiana yet there, fucking Scott Canning? You fucking spend an awful lot of time in fucking chat. I don't know, as a construction laborer, I don't think you'd have time fucking posting in a YouTube chat.
I was working at CNN in Atlanta. She got better. I was working at CNN in Washington. I got better. My best girl was a national...
Rome is just plain fucking stupid. That is one stupid Englishman. It saddened me to think, to know that Americans put their life on the line for people like that fucking idiot. Seriously.
I started flirting with her. And
I'd take Keith Farron over Rum any day.
30 years ago, I don't do a lot of it anymore.
You don't own shit, Dad.
I was a very good flirt, a very talented flirt, and I won the day. Yeah, but we worked at the same company. We spoke on the telephone about feeding videotape and covering events at various.
I own Billy. No, you don't.
Stories. So we communicated, and
the only one who owns me is Rusty. She has part ownership of Billy.
Sandy asks.
Yep. Grandma right in there.
Shows on Newsmax, like when you
Rusty and I have a lot in common.
Chronicles. I hope so.
We do.
Sandy, there is no current plan for me to do that on Newsmax, but the Biden.
I'm glad to see Stephanie say she's conservative.
The shows were fun. I think they still show them every now and then, making fun of Joe Biden. But I have talked to him.
But no, Stephanie, I'm not going to stop.
And the producer of those
I can't stop.
Great fun.
No,
doing those shows together.
I can't stop. If I stop doing what I'm doing, it'll hurt Rusty.
Maybe can't rule it out. And let's see. Dodge asks.
In other words, I'm proud to support her. I don't care. She's used my mother in the past, whatever. The shit goes back and forth. But for the most part, Rusty has backed me up.
I believe that the
I appreciate it. So fuck you, Wiggin.
Because they're all the illegal ghost guns are in Chicago.
If you'd have done the same thing, Wiggin, I'd feel the same towards you. But you don't have my support now. You're not streaming. How come you're not streaming, Wiggin? You sit around and cry about me getting views or not getting views. I'm the only one watching your chat, Billy.
Democrats shot a lot of stuff, but they missed.
You advertise for me in your chat when you do that shit. When you guys talk about me in Vegas, you advertise Billy Hayden.
That I'll get to in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 99% of the people in Vegas have logical blocks because you guys talk behind the scenes. So you don't see a spam. Because you got to have an account where you can see what people are saying. And if you spam in your chat, you have to go and scroll. So I'll block that fucking idiot on this one. But then I go into Vegas with my wrench, which I don't have anybody blocked. Because if you come into my chat, I'm going to see you. That's why I do that. As soon as I post, there's fucking Logical hitting the on button, using my mother's pictures, trying to spam me out of Vegas. It hasn't worked yet. You are one dumb motherfucker, Patrick Francis Callahan. You really are. One dumb motherfucker. You and all your little friends. Fucking morons.
For your family, for your work friends, and more holiday favorites with Omaha Steaks. Just visit omahasteaks.com and for an extra $35 off, use the code PLANT when you're checking out. Terms apply. See site for details. That's omahasteaks.com. The code is PLANT. Yes, sir. All right, one more mailbag question coming up. Yeah, no ghost guns because that's all law-abiding people. Democrats use illegal guns. Regular Americans, hunt deer, feed the family. Great stuff.
There's only one Chris Plant. The Chris Plant Show. News Talk 105.9 WMAL. Making sense of the news.
Ever wish buying a home was as easy as clicking your heels 3 times? At Northern Credit Union, we know there's no place like home. We offer first-time buyer programs with no closing costs, VA, USDA, season, new construction, and many other loan options. If you're dreaming of home ownership, Northern will help you get into your new home in 3 clicks of your heels. Getting approved is quick and easy, and with our meet or beat rate guarantee, you know you're getting the lowest rate possible. Our team is here to help you along the yellow brick road to home ownership with honest advice, personalized service, and support every step of the way. Click your heels or just call or text, because at Northern, there's no place like home. Northern Credit Union, mortgage magic in the real world. Call or text 315-782-0155 or apply online at mynorthern.com. Federally insured, NCUA, equal housing opportunity.
CDC recommends that people age 65 and older and those with moderate or severe immunocompromise should receive a second dose of seasonal COVID-19 vaccine 2 to 6 months after their last dose. Learn more and make an appointment at KinneyDrugs.com. Walk-ins are also welcome at all Kinney pharmacies.
Carmelo Anthony here for DraftKings Sportsbook. An 82-game season, that's a grind. Trust me, I already know about that. The Emirates NBA Cup turns it up even more, and DraftKings Sportsbook lets you feel that fire every night. New customers, bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code HEART. That's code HEART. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, pass-through of per-wager tax may apply in Illinois. 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive bonus bets, which expire in 7 days. Minimum odds required. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Limited time offer.
It's truck and SUV season at Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader. Just look at the rows of trucks and the rows of SUVs ready for winter, like a Ford F-150 XLT, yours for just $30,999. How about a 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander, just $20,999? Or a beautiful Chevy truck Z71, yours for $26,999. Rows of trucks and rows of SUVs during truck and SUV season at the veteran-owned Widget Auto Sales, a used car leader in out of Washington Street, or online at widgetautosales.com.
Yes, it's me again. We prepped. We It's the time for empowerment, and I got a message for you. You gotta think about centuries, no matter what, where, with who, yeah. To all you lovers out there, ain't no judgment. This is your cue. It's time to talk about pre-special prophylaxis, a part of HIV prevention. Oh, so talk to a healthcare provider and visit Care for the Culture.
Peace to the planet, Charlamagne the God here. Getting real about your mental health journey means connecting with real people. Call, text, or chat 988 if you're having tough thoughts, substance use issues, stress at home or at work. They can even talk to you through worries you're having about somebody you love. 988 counselors are ready to hear from you 24/7. No cost, no judgment, no stigma. It's also private. Asking for help is the strongest thing that you can do. Just connect with 988, a message from the New York State Office of Mental Health.
WMAL's Vince Colonnese, weekdays at noon on 105.9 WMAL, making sense of the news.
All right, mailbag questions, fun mailbag questions today. Of the 80,000, I think it's more than 81,000 deer slain in Illinois by mostly men and some women using rifles hunting deer. More than 81,000 deer. You know, that reminded me of the You know, that this land belongs to the deer. It doesn't belong to us. This is the deer land.
It's wrong for anyone to kill deer. The reasons they're using for the deer hunt are completely falsified and wrong. The deer are not overpopulated. It only seems that way to them because we've taken their land.
They've taken the land of the deer. That's wrong. The Indians took the land from the deer. We took the land from the Indians. See how that works? But the last question. Old Rabbit asks, why do you have that leftist shill on the right squad? Talking about Professor Jason Nichols. He adds nothing of value to your panel. Why do you have that leftist shill on the right squad? Well, Old Rabbit, the short answer is, I don't. I don't. If I were in charge, and I'm not, and nobody there listens to me, nobody there wants my advice, nobody wants to hear what I have to say to contribute my recommendations, suggestions for the show, for the panel, or nobody listens to me at all. But Old Rabbit, let me say, you are not alone.
This is the Chris Plant Show.
WMAL-FM, Woodbridge, Washington. A Cumulus media station.
Making sense of the news.
News Talk 105.9. News now.
WMAL News 1130.
Go ahead, fucktard.
Breaking this hour a day after House Speaker Mike Johnson said in his chamber.
Unmute your mic. Go ahead. What are you going to do? Post comments in my back chat? Unmute your mic. You're on my panel. I was just going to comment about what Lady Venom's saying in fucking Vegas. I love how every time there's a terrorist attack, the conspiracy theorists have to make everything political. What, not like that's political? These fuckers are killing Jews in the name of Allah because why? They want to take over the friggin' world. They want you to become Muslim. You don't have freedom of choice. You can't be an atheist. You can't be agnostic. You can't be a Christian. None of you have to be Muslim or they're going to fucking kill you. You are one dumb motherfucker, Lady Venom. Why don't you bring your ass up here, bitch?
34th Street, the musical. A joyous, heartwarming musical for pure family entertainment. December 26th through 28th on stage for 5 performances only this holiday season.
Stay the course, Rusty. I appreciate it. I'm cutting this one off. I'll be back later. I got something I got to do. I got to leave.
Fantastic shape right now. Maryland and Virginia running with light volume. No incidents currently reported. 270 wide open between Frederick and the Beltway.